Picture this. It's 3 a.m., you're wide awake, staring at the ceiling, and your brain won't shut off. You're running through every possible financial catastrophe. What if your car breaks down tomorrow? What if your laptop dies? What if you lose your job? What if your dog needs emergency surgery? If this sounds familiar, stay with me, because I'm about to tell you about a specific dollar amount that could eliminate almost all of these midnight panic sessions and completely transform how you move through life. Most people think financial milestones are just arbitrary numbers that rich people invented to make everyone else feel inadequate. But there's actual psychology and hard mathematics behind why certain amounts of money create dramatic shifts in how you live day to day. And the first real game changer isn't $1 million. It's not even $100,000. It's $10,000. I'm Ryan, and I spend an unreasonable amount of time thinking about money, human psychology, and why some people seem to glide through financial challenges while others are constantly stressed about their bank balance. If you've ever wondered what it actually feels like to have different amounts of money saved, and more importantly, how each milestone changes your entire decision-making process, make sure you subscribe and drop a like on this video. Before we talk about what makes $10,000 so powerful, let me paint you a picture of life without it. You know that moment at the grocery store when you're mentally calculating whether you can afford the name brand cereal, or if you need to stick with the generic version that tastes like cardboard, or when your friends suggest dinner and you have to invent some creative excuse because admitting that $25 for a meal would destroy your entire weekly budget feels too humiliating. This is reality for millions of people living paycheck to paycheck. Every financial decision becomes a careful calculation. Every unexpected expense feels like a potential catastrophe. You're constantly playing defense with your money instead of making proactive choices about your future. But here's where things get interesting. There's a specific psychological phenomenon that happens when you accumulate your first $10,000, and it has nothing to do with buying expensive things. Most people who reach this milestone don't dramatically change their spending habits at all. The real transformation is much more subtle and infinitely more powerful. Your relationship with risk completely changes. When you have zero savings, every decision feels dangerous. Taking a new job, moving to a different city, even planning a vacation becomes this massive source of stress because one wrong move could leave you financially devastated. But when you have $10,000 sitting in your account, these same decisions suddenly feel manageable. You're not going to quit your job tomorrow to become a professional juggler, but you might finally have the confidence to ask for that promotion you've been thinking about for months. You might invest in yourself by taking a course that could boost your earning potential. The safety net doesn't make you reckless. It gives you permission to think beyond just surviving until the next paycheck. Here's something fascinating. Neuroscientists have found that financial security actually reduces cortisol levels, which is your body's primary stress hormone. Reaching $10,000 doesn't just change your finances. It literally changes how your body responds to daily challenges. Think about the last time you had a car problem. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, that check engine light might as well be a countdown timer to financial disaster. You're immediately stressed about how you'll pay for repairs, whether you'll need to put it on a credit card, whether you'll have to borrow money from family. But when you have $10,000 saved, that same check engine light becomes a simple inconvenience. You're annoyed, sure, but you're not panicked. This shift from panic to mild annoyance might seem small, but creates ripple effects throughout your entire life. When you're not constantly worried about money, you make better decisions in general. You sleep better. You're more productive at work. You're more patient with family and friends. Financial stress affects every aspect of human behavior, and removing that stress unlocks mental energy you can redirect toward actually improving your situation. Here's something most people don't realize about the $10,000 milestone. The majority of the benefit doesn't come from spending the money. It comes from knowing the money is there. This is what financial experts call the emergency fund effect, and it's one of the most underrated concepts in personal finance. An emergency fund isn't really about the emergencies. It's about the peace of mind that comes from knowing you can handle emergencies. Most people who build up $10,000 in savings never actually spend it on emergencies. Instead, they spend it on opportunities. They invest in education. They start businesses. They move to better locations. Or they simply have the mental bandwidth to focus on increasing their income because they're not constantly worried about basic survival. There's also a confidence factor that's impossible to ignore. When you know you have money in the bank, you carry yourself differently. You negotiate better. You're more willing to walk away from bad deals because you're not desperate. This confidence often leads to better job opportunities, better relationships, and better life outcomes in general. Now, $10,000 might sound impossible to save, especially if you're struggling to put away even $100 per month. But here's what's interesting about human psychology. The hardest part isn't saving the money itself. The hardest part is developing the identity of someone who saves money. Most people approach saving like a temporary diet. They cut expenses dramatically for a few months, save aggressively, then burn out and go back to old spending habits. But people who successfully reach $10,000 don't think of saving as a temporary sacrifice. They think of it as becoming a different type of person. This identity shift is crucial because it affects every financial decision you make. When you see yourself as someone who saves money, you start noticing opportunities to reduce expenses that you never saw before. You become more creative about finding additional income sources. You start thinking long-term instead of focusing on immediate gratification. The beautiful thing? It gets easier as you go. Saving your first $1,000 is brutal. It requires significant lifestyle changes and constant willpower. But saving your second thousand is noticeably easier because you've already developed the habits and mindset. By the time you're working toward your fifth or sixth thousand, the process feels almost automatic. There's also a mathematical reality that makes $10,000 particularly powerful. This amount can cover the vast majority of unexpected expenses that derail people financially. Car repairs, medical bills, job loss, family emergencies. Most of these situations can be handled with less than $10,000. Once you reach this milestone, you're effectively immune to most of the financial disasters that keep people stuck in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. But perhaps the most significant change is how you start thinking about money itself. Instead of viewing money as something that just disappears from your paycheck every month, you start seeing it as a tool that multiplies your options. Before you have savings, money feels scarce and finite. Every dollar spent is a dollar gone forever. But when you have $10,000 as your financial foundation, you begin to understand that money can actually create more money. This is where people start getting interested in investing, side hustles, and passive income. Not because they suddenly became financial geniuses, but because they finally have the mental space to think beyond covering basic expenses. When you're not constantly worried about rent, you can start wondering about retirement accounts. When you're not stressed about groceries, you can start researching stock market investments. Mindset over income. Having $10,000 in savings puts you closer to financial independence than earning a high income with no savings. The reason is simple. Saving money requires discipline, awareness, and control, skills that matter more than how much you earn. Many people with high salaries live paycheck to paycheck because they spend everything they make. At the same time, others with modest incomes manage to build real savings by being intentional with their money. The difference isn't income, it's mindset. Reaching $10,000 in savings helps you develop crucial financial habits. You learn to separate needs from wants, reduce unnecessary expenses without feeling deprived, and practice delayed gratification. These skills are the foundation of long-term wealth. Practical applications. $10,000 provides real financial security. Most car repairs and medical expenses become manageable instead of stressful emergencies. If you lose your job, this amount can cover 3 to 6 months of expenses, giving you time to make thoughtful career decisions instead of panicking. Beyond protection, savings create opportunities. You can invest in certifications that increase your income, start a small business, or participate in promising opportunities when they arise. While savings shouldn't be spent recklessly, having money set aside gives you something priceless: options. And having options changes everything. Saving $10,000 isn't just about money. It transforms your mind and life. Financial security reduces stress, helping you sleep better and improving overall health. Relationships benefit too. Without constant money worries, you're less irritable, more present, and able to invest energy in loved ones. Confidence skyrockets. When you don't desperately need a job, you negotiate better salaries, boosting your career and income. Decision fatigue decreases as well. Daily micro-decisions about spending lose their urgency, freeing mental energy for what actually matters. One person even said the first time they walked into a grocery store after reaching $10,000, they nearly cried, realizing they could focus on what they wanted, not what they could afford. $10,000 may feel out of reach if you're living paycheck to paycheck, but you don't need to save it all at once. Start small, even $25 to $50 per month. Consistency matters more than size. Over time, as you grow your income or reduce expenses, you can increase your savings. For perspective, the average American spends over $3,000 yearly on coffee, dining out, and convenience purchases. Redirecting even a portion of that towards savings can build $10,000 in under 3 years. The real power of reaching this milestone goes beyond emergency funds. It changes how you handle risk, approach opportunities, and plan for the future. Most importantly, it proves to yourself that achieving financial goals is possible, creating momentum for even bigger accomplishments. So there you have it. $10,000 isn't just a number in your bank account. It's a complete psychological transformation that touches every aspect of your life, from sleeping better at night to walking into job interviews with actual confidence instead of desperation. This milestone creates a domino effect that most people never see coming. If you're currently staring at a bank balance that looks more like a phone number from the 1950s, don't panic. Start small, stay consistent, and remember, the person you become while saving your first $10,000 is infinitely more valuable than the money itself. That transformation, that's what changes everything. If this video helped shift your perspective on saving, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on building real financial freedom. Drop a comment and let me know where you are on your savings journey. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.